Hello friends, Microsoft Excel or equivalent spreadsheet is very important part of our life. The data can be collected, organized and analyzed using multiple functions of Microsoft Excel. Most of the times we get the data from some external sources, we copy them into Microsoft Excel and then we analyze. Hence, we also need to know a few cleanup functions which will be cleaning the data to change the incoming data to such an extent that the data will be healthy and you should be able to work further on healthy data. In this set of lessons, we will be running through all Microsoft Excel functions which will be helping you cleaning up the data, looking up for important information and analyzing the data. First, we'll look into how the data of very large size in Excel can be reviewed for a specific value or value corresponding to a specific reference, etc. using some reference functions. We will start with lookup function. Lookup function is the simplest form of all the lookup functions. Purpose of this function is to find the exact value in a column or row in the same column or row of a reference value. For example, in a list of students and test scores, you may want to know the score of a student called Ramu. Lookup function can be of two types. It can be vector form or array form. Vector form is to find the result in a row or column. You specifically ask for searching in a row or a column. The vector form of lookup function will provide a value of a cell in the same row or column corresponding to the row or column where the reference value is existing. In case of array form, you can ask for number of columns or number of rows in which you wanted to search for the value against a reference value. So in summary, array form is to find the result from an array of rows and columns. This function in array form provides value of a cell in the same row or column of lookup value in lookup vector corresponding to row or column of result array corresponding to lookup value. We will discuss more about vector form. The syntax of vector form is as follows. The first argument is the lookup value. This lookup value can be a value like 4, 5 or a text like Ramu or a cell number whose value has to be referred. Then you mention the lookup vector, which can be a range of a row or range of column in which the lookup value is existing. Third argument is result vector. The result vector is a range of a row or range of a column where you need to find the value corresponding to lookup value. Let us summarize the meaning of each argument. Lookup value is an absolute value or a cell value or a result of formula referring which the lookup searches in the lookup vector. The lookup vector is the row or column in which the lookup value is searched for a match. The result vector is the row or column in which the result corresponding to row or column in which the lookup value is matched. The result vector can be optional. When result vector is not mentioned, the search will be done in the lookup vector itself. Example. You want to find the score of a student Ramu in a table of columns A, which is for student names, and column B, which is for student scores. And it has scores for 10 students. Your reference is for Ramu. So your lookup value will be Ramu. Then where is Ramu? You have to search for the value of Ramu in the column A, which is listing the names of students. So you have to mention the range, which is A1 to A10. That is the row number 1 of column A to row number 10 of column A. Then where you have to search for the result has to be searched in the score column, which is column B. So the result vector will be B1 to B10. The function will first identify where is the value Ramu existing in the lookup vector, that is column A. And then it finds that the value Ramu is existing in the row number 8. Then the function will search for value corresponding to the value of Ramu in result vector, which is B1 to B10. It will look at the scores and finds the value in the row 8 for the column B. Hence, the value of 4 will be result. Whereas, if you do not want to know the result, you just want to know whether a value Ramu is existing or not, you can keep the result vector blank in the function and write as lookup with first argument as Ramu and second argument, which is lookup vector, that is A1 to A10. So in A1 to A10, the function will search for the value of Ramu and it will return the value of row number 8 as the result. Now the important point or even the limitation of lookup function is you have to sort the table in ascending order to get the accurate result. Which column has to be sorted? That is lookup vector. So the lookup vector here is column A. So the column A is sorted in ascending order, hence you got the accurate result. Now let us discuss array form of lookup. The syntax is as follows. The function has one argument which is lookup value. As I mentioned, this lookup value can be an absolute value like a number or some text or a cell number or result of a formula. The second argument is lookup array. The lookup array is a set of rows and columns. We will summarize our understanding on the arguments. So the lookup value is an absolute value or a cell value or a result of formula referring which the lookup function searches in lookup vector. Lookup array is a range of cells that contains text, numbers or logical values that you want to compare with lookup value. You need to make a note of an important point that the lookup value is searched in the first row if number of rows is less than number of columns in array and vice versa. That means if you have 2 rows and 3 columns, the search will start with the first row. Whereas if you have 2 columns and 3 rows, the search will start with first column. If rows and columns are equal, like 2 by 2, 3 by 2 kind of array, then the lookup value is set in first column. Example, if you want to find the line amount for metal copper along the sales of metals on a day, the table shows the list of metals which were sold for certain quantity on certain day at a price. So you see that there is item and the selling date, the quantity sold, the price at which the sale happened, and the line amount, which is price multiplied by the quantity. So now I want to know the line amount for metal copper in the list. So first I need to know where is copper, and for copper I need to know what is the corresponding line amount. First, the lookup value is copper. You can write the absolute value of copper. When you are writing the lookup value in the text form, you need to put the value in quotes. If it is a number, you do not need to put the value in quotes. So the lookup value is copper in the lookup function. There are 8 rows. So the range has to be B2 to E8. That is this array in which the search has to happen for the lookup value copper. Let's see how this function is written. The lookup value is copper. You can write the range as A1 to E8. You wanted the function to search for copper value in the array, which is A1 to E8. Once you find the row of the lookup value, you need to find the corresponding value in the extreme column, that is column E. So in the column E, you will find out what is the corresponding value because the range is from row A to row E. The result will be 10443696. Now if you want to find the price for copper in the list of table, you need to change the array because the lookup function is finding the value corresponding to lookup value in the extreme column or row. In this case, it is extreme column. So in the first example, it looked at the range from column A to column E. Hence, it looked for the result value in column E. If you want price, you need to give the range from column A to column D only. The D corresponds to price. So the function is written as lookup with lookup value as copper. and the array is A1 to D8. So you will find 261092.4 as the result. If you want to know the quantity, what will you do? You can try on your own, but you know the answer. The array will be A1 to C8. The limitations of lookup. We already discussed in multiple contexts on some of the limitations of lookup function. We will list down those limitations. Lookup provides wrong result if the lookup vector is not sorted in ascending order. We already discussed about that. If the lookup function cannot find the lookup value, the function matches the largest value in the lookup vector that is less than or equal to your lookup value. So if your lookup value is 10 and if it is not finding the value 10, it will look for the largest value which is less than 10. It may find a value of 9 or 9.9 or 8, whichever is the largest in the vector less than the reference value. The lookup function returns not available error if the lookup value is smaller than the smallest value in the lookup vector. If your lookup value is 2 and in the lookup vector the smallest value is 3, the lookup function can't even find the largest number that is less than the lookup value. So it will return not available error. The function returns reference error value if there is no lookup value in the lookup array or vector. When you are copying and pasting the formula, ensure that the reference cells are rearranged because your results will be inaccurate depending on what is the result of your formula. Now it is time for demo. We will move to demo.